It's no mystery to anyone that's known me for a while that Kingdom Hearts is my all-time favourite video game. The best thing is that I don't even know why. Before I got Kingdom Hearts in my mind, I was probably thinking Donald, Goofy, and Bahamut. Best game ever. However, recently I've decided to find out why I like these games so much, which is why I've written these reviews. Actually, they were supposed to be for my games coursework, but don't tell anybody. For those who don't know, Kingdom Hearts is a fantasy RPG made by the collaboration between Squaresoft and Disney. Hence the reason for Donald, Goofy, Leon, Yuffie, Yensid and all the other ones that come from somewhere. This also explains why the game has such a complex plot, as you'll probably see further on in the franchise. The game follows a character named Sora and his two friends Riku and Kairi. I will admit that to begin with I did have a hatred for Riku, but as it turns out, he's a good guy. One day the trio decide to leave their home Destiny Island in order to find new worlds or something like that. However, the night before they leave, the world they inhabit is swallowed by darkness and taken over by new beings called the Heartless. Heartless are beings that are once normal creatures but eventually get their hearts into the darkness, turning them into different forms of the Heartless. But you don't need to know that. When Sora returns to the island to stop the Ra from escaping, he finds Kairi and Riku doing magic or something. Wanna know what happened to them? Riku gave into the darkness and Kairi disappeared. You want any more explanation? After attempting to save Riku, Sora obtains a new weapon called the Keyblade, which is the best / stupidest weapon ever. Sounds like a pretty basic plot. Find Kairi and Riku and then go home. Well, no, because this game branches off into more subplots and there are remakes of Rayman 2. After being whisked away from Destiny Islands, Sora finds himself in a new world called Travis Town. Oh, jeez. You right there, buddy? Had a dog jump onto your chest. While this is happening, we find out that the king, presumably Mickey Mouse, has ordered Donald and Goofy to look for the key. What's the key? I don't fucking know. After Sora recovers from a few broken ribs, he decides to go and look around Travis Town, where he eventually runs across two people called Leon and Yuffie. See, I told you. Fun fancy shit. They explain to Sora that he's a chosen wielder of the Keyblade, which kind of also explains why the Heartless had followed him around wherever he goes. Stalkers. After wandering around some more, Sora eventually finds himself being crushed by Donald and Goofy. Nah, I'm joking, it's fine. But it leads up to the first main boss fight of the game. For the sake of the length of this review, I'm gonna show on the plot a bit. Ready, go! There are several villains from the Disney universe, including Oogie Boogie, Hades and Maleficent, who are trying to collect the Disney princesses known as the Princesses of Heart. This includes Alice from Alice in Wonderland, Belle from Beauty and the Beast, Cinderella from Cinderella, Jasmine from Aladdin, Aura from Sleeping Beauty, Snow White from Snow White, and Kairi. Plot twist! And the reason they are doing this is so they can access the almighty Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, they said the name of the game in the game. Yeah. They also find out through the power of Satan, Sora is the key bearer, which they find extremely useful. To stop the bad guys from taking the princesses, Sora must travel from world to world, locking the keyholes to each of the world's hearts, stopping the Heartless from turning the worlds into death. What? The thing that I like the most about Kingdom Hearts is the variation in the worlds. For example, Sora has to visit a total of 13 different worlds, including the 100-Acre Wood. Depending on the world that's being visited, Sora may either get new abilities or new companions. For example, in Atlantica, Sora turns into a fish dolphin thing, and in Netherlands, Sora gains the ability to fly. Sora can travel from world to world via a ship called the Gummy Ship. Doesn't really look very gummy. Maybe inside? When travelling between worlds, the gameplay turns into this sort of shooter thing. Honestly, I like this part of the game. They're fun. However, Kingdom Hearts 2 did do it better, though. It's also good to know that after visiting Travis Town for the second time, the Gummy Ship gets an upgrade that allows Sora and the gang to warp between each world instead of going the normal way. The thing that sets each world apart for me is the music. I haven't mentioned anything about the music so far, but the soundtrack is incredible. Each world has their own field and battle music which suits perfectly to each environment. Some worlds have variants of songs that the worlds are based off of. For example, Under the Sea is used in Atlantica, and This Is Halloween is used for Halloween Town. I've been using the 1.5 remix version of the soundtrack, which I can only describe as, oh, it's beautiful. I'm being serious. The whole of the Kingdom Hearts franchise is some of the greatest video game soundtracks ever. Except for games like Escape, Blast Soul. We don't need to talk about that one. Along with the main quests, there are also side missions that can be done. This includes collecting all 99 Dalmatian puppies, collecting and posting all 10 postcards, fighting your way through the whole of the Olympus Coliseum, and finding all of the Trinities. There is even a side quest to build the Ultima weapon, which to this day I still haven't been able to do. Look at me, do I look like someone who has the patience to do that sort of thing? Honestly, looking back at Kingdom Hearts, there isn't really much new that the games bring to the table. It's just the way the game's been executed that makes it feel so captivating. For example, look at a game like Insert Game and Excuse Here. Whereas in Kingdom Hearts, it makes you actually feel like you're making a change to the world. Like if you fail on your quest, you just doomed the whole of the universe. That might be what makes me like these games so much. You meet some ridiculous characters such as Goofy, then it turns out it can actually help you and alter the future of billions of lives. Although the worlds are make-believe, they all seem real, like you can actually imagine these things happening to yourself. It constantly feels like there's a metaphorical shadow looming over you the whole time, just waiting for you to slip up once. Because of these things, the game just feels so believable at times. Except for the final cutscene. How the hell did Kairi get there? Anyway, Realm Darkness, closing in. As much as I like this game, I'm not ashamed to admit that the game has some flaws. As a couple of examples, the platforming is very hit and miss. And after playing other games, the combat just seems really slow and clunky. Especially in Atlantica when you're fighting Ursula. Seriously, I think she should have been the last boss in the game. She's so hard. For the most part, the progression of the plot is really good. Each part of information given is few and far between. That is, until you reach Hollow Bastion. Here's what I mean. By the way, this is a spoiler warning, so if you don't want to know plot crucial details, you might want to go away. Surprise! Kairi's heart was in Sora all along. Surprise! Riku is a true wielder of the Keyblade. Surprise! Riku was being controlled by some guy named Ansem, I don't know. Surprise! It wasn't really Disney villains who wanted to try and gain access to Kingdom Hearts, but Ansem! Sure, this doesn't really seem like a lot of information when I say it, but playing through it the first time, it just seems like there's a lot to be processed. Referring back to Hollow Bastion a minute, when Sora lands for the first time, the Keyblade is taken from him and replaced with the wooden sword that you use from Destiny Island. This helps with the point I was trying to drive earlier, that the universe rests in your hands. Now that the only weapon you use to fight the darkness has been taken from you, you feel somehow helpless. As though everything you've done so far was just for nothing. But being a persistent bugger you are, you find Riku and reclaim what is rightfully yours. So that build-up was kind of for nothing. But that's it. That's all I really wanted to say about Kingdom Hearts 1. I don't really mean to sound cliche, but this game has really helped me through some tough times. This is partially why I keep this game so near and dear to my heart. There isn't really anything else about Kingdom Hearts that I can say that hasn't been mentioned a million times over. I'm sorry if this part seems a bit rushed, but hey, I've never done a review like this before. I wouldn't go as far as to say that Kingdom Hearts has shaped my life, but it certainly helped my understanding on how to make a good video game. Sure, it might not be considered the best game of all time, but hey, that's a personal opinion. Thank you so much for watching this review of Kingdom Hearts, aka my favourite game of all time, to celebrate reaching 100 subscribers and my first 3 years on YouTube. Thanks to everyone from the bottom of my heart, my friends, the YouTube community, and everyone who supported me.